Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast on a Friday afternoon, presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. This is it, the event of the offseason, the ultimate Eagles Super Bowl draft from the last decade, the 2017 team, the 2022 team, the 2024 team. The three of us are going to draft rosters from those teams, and looking forward to figuring out who finishes second between Fran Duffy and Zack Baun. Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for the show. Look, this is a fun concept. I am excited to see how my roster looks and what role Bo will throw in the middle of the game that I wasn't anticipating.
Yeah, we're already having disagreements on how this draft order is going to be sorted out, but this will be interesting.
All right, let's see. We got a lot to get to. This is going to be a good discussion. This is fun fan fiction here for everybody. So let's set up the rules here. 12 spots on offense: quarterback, backup quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers, tight end, the 5 offensive line positions, specifically left tackle, left guard, right guard, and right tackle. And then you get to decide if you want to deploy 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 21 personnel. That last spot can be a running back, wide receiver, or tight end. And we have talked about with the offensive line, you can't really draft 2 Lane Johnsons and put 1 at left tackle. We're playing a little bit honor system here. Like a guy like Isaac Seumalo, if you want, you could put him at any of the 3 interior spots. You could, if you wanted Halapoulivaati Vaitai, you could play him at either one. But realistically, you got to keep the guys at the positions where they belong. On defense, 2 edges, 2 defensive tackles, 2 linebackers, 2 corners, 2 safeties, a specific nickel. And then, because there are 12 on offense, there's a flex position. This could be anybody. This could be a defensive lineman. It could be an extra defensive back, whatever you want. We are also drafting head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and then to make sure that it's even, since it's a snake draft, we have just a wild card spot. That could be anything tangentially related to those 3 Super Bowl seasons. Could be just a good vibes backup special teamer that you want to make sure you have in the building. Could be anything. Could be the dog masks. We'll figure out and see how people go there. Any questions before we get going?
Yeah, I have lots of questions, but let's get rolling.
Okay. Now, in order to begin the proceedings, we need to know who's going where. And usually when we do this, it's we decide, like, whoever wins the thing gets to pick which spot they have. I think we don't deserve the pick on this one. I think we need to get randomly assigned our positions. So Julia, you can randomize a wheel here. I guess we will go left to right. I will go first. 1, 2, or 3. Slot me in 1, 2, or 3. I have no agency in where I'm going. Uh-oh. I don't know how you guys feel. We can be honest here. I don't want to go first.
I didn't really want to go first either. All right, so Bo's number 3.
Okay, so I will be going third.
The fix is in already.
So now Fran has to go between 1 and 2. Do we do a 2-wheel? Okay, there we go. Yeah. Nicely done, Julia.
Oh, look at that, Julia. Well done.
Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
Take over.
All right, I'll take it.
Ooh. All right, so it goes Fran first,
okay.
Zack second, me third. And the one other thing I will say, the quarterbacks, unlike the offensive line positions, you can draft 2 starting quarterbacks. Like, you can draft a starting quarterback as your backup quarterback. So I imagine that will inform your decision here at number 1, Fran.
Yeah. I am going to take the 2022 version of one Jalen Hurts. I think, to me, this is we talked about it on yesterday's show. I think that he is the best version of Jalen Hurts. And honestly, the way that he played in that game, I know it was a losing effort against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, but the way that he performed over that entire season, that was the peak. And honestly, it's the standard that he should be held to, Jalen Hurts. And that's why the frustrating valleys that we saw during the season last year were as frustrating as they were, because we've seen the level to which he can play the position. And to me, this was his peak, was that 2022 season. Obviously, we saw flashes of it last year as well at certain points. But I think that on the whole of the season, 2022 was Jalen's best year.
I have a couple of questions here for you about the quarterbacks, okay? Of the 6 quarterbacks who I imagine are going to get drafted here. So 2 Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, Gardner Minshew, and Tanner McKee. Who do you think was the best in EPA per dropback, including the playoffs?
Including the playoffs. I would say probably the 2022 Jalen Hurts.
It was actually Tanner McKee. Second was Carson Wentz. Third is Nick Foles. Fourth is last year's Hurts. Fifth is 2022 Hurts. But we're gonna keep going here. Success rate. It's the opposite. Success rate, that 2022 Hurts is the best at 50.2%, and then it's the 24 Hurts, and then it's Foles, and then it's Wentz. Touchdowns to interceptions, Wentz is going to look the best, right? 33-7, then 25-6 for Hurts in 2022. But the thing that I think best encapsulates why I agree with you, I would go Jalen Hurts 2022 first overall, is just the percentage of the yards, the offense's yards that they've accounted for. So the passing yards and the rushing yards divided by the entire yards that the offense scored or compiled in the games that they played quarterback. And last year's version of Jalen Hurts, where Saquon Barkley did so much of the heavy lifting, Jalen Hurts accounted for 61% of the yards. Then you go to Carson Wentz in 2017 until through those first 14 games, he's at 71%. Jalen Hurts from 2022 is just above that at about 72.5%. And so I agree with you. I think that version of Hurts, and then as you said, knowing how well he played in the final game, that's where I would go. All right. Over to you, Zach.
I was hoping to get the number one pick, to get 2022 Jalen Hurts, because my
I think you're in the best spot here, Zach.
No, because I think you're going to pan my pick. I'm actually fairly confident you're going to pan my pick here. But
are you going? You're not going Lindstrom here, are you?
No, I'm going Jonathan Gannon here. No. No, look, I'm doing this based on the Delta positions, blue chip players, and I'm going with 2024 Saquon Barkley.
Wow.
At number 2 overall.
Wow.
Yes. And I'm doing this because, look, if I don't have the elite, I want an elite player. Saquon Barkley was the offensive player of the year. No matter who's at quarterback, I'm confident Saquon is going to be productive for me. And the big difference between this game and some of the other games we're playing is we're focusing on the year they had, and you get the year they had, and that's it. You're not thinking long term. So I know that I'm getting a healthy, elite, offensive player of the year. He's the only player in the entire pool of players who is a player of the year. And so I know this wouldn't be the chalk for Bo Wulf. I know this wouldn't be the chalk for Fran Duffy. I wondered if he would go in the 3-4. I feel good about going with Saquon Barkley, number 2 overall here.
Bo, would you have taken him on the turn?
No. But that's okay. I mean,
yeah, sure.
Zach's doing what he's doing. There's a delta there, no doubt. I think
Yep.
I would not have, because there are more important positions, and there are you can build a roster where he would matter a little bit less. But Zach explained it. I'm not gonna kill him for it. I will kill him for it after the fact, but not as we're going.
I think.
Okay, well, this is very interesting.
To stop thinking about what your reaction is going to be with these picks, and I need to think about I need to be Danny Ainge taking Jason Tatum. I need to be Sam Presti taking Russell Westbrook. I can't worry about what the people on TV are saying. I need to have courage in my convictions. That is how I am operating in this draft in particular.
You have given me a very difficult decision here now. I was not expecting to have this opportunity, but I think I got to play the game here. I think I got to do it. I'm taking 2022 AJ Brown and 2024 AJ Brown. Because you talk about the deltas. I think after Saquon, and this is a more important position, the delta between AJ and everybody else, DeVonta's great, Alshon's great. We're talking about the best receiver in football, arguably here, and I get 2 of them. Gotta roll the dice. I gotta do it.
Okay.
This is gonna get really, really hairy.
Yeah, that's a solid. So that's a solid pick. Okay. So then, as we circle back to me here, the notable part here is that we need to take 2 players from this position, similar to wide receiver. I understand that, but we need to take 2 players at this position. So I am going with 2024 Jalen Carter at this spot, because to me there are 2 defensive tackles that stand out above everybody else. I feel like it's kind of cluttered, and I didn't want to lose out on that.
This was one of the more interesting pre-draft exercises.
Yes.
2017 Fletcher Cox.
Yep.
Or 2024 Jalen Carter. Very difficult. I think I would argue that 2017 Fletcher Cox was a more complete player, but that was also the year where Fletcher was a little bit banged up. He missed a couple games. And so I think I probably would have gone with Jalen Carter over Fletcher Cox too, Zach. But that's an interesting one. What about you, Fran?
Yeah, I had Jalen Carter, 2024 Jalen Carter at the top of my board. I was not expecting to, but after going through the numbers, it was close. But I ended up going with Jalen Carter in that spot as well for me.
And someone says in the chat, I agree. 2018 Fletcher Cox. That's the best version of Fletch that we have seen, and that he would have been ahead of Jalen Carter. All right.
Well, with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the 2017 Fletcher Cox here at the turn with my second pick. While Carter was a little bit better, I do think that when you look at just best player on the board, I would make the argument that Fletcher Cox certainly is deserving of that moniker. With my second pick, I said that this was going to get interesting because I knew Zach was going to do this. I'm taking 2024 Jalen Hurts, and he's going to be my backup quarterback.
I think you did the right thing.
Yep. So I will take Fletcher Cox. I'm going to go double dip at Jalen, and he's my backup quarterback.
You had to do it. That was absolutely the right move.
I mean, that's why as soon as you double dipped on AJ, I said, all right, well, this is happening.
This is my issue with these games is you have to play in earnest. You're not like
Zach, how many back and forths did we have about the rules here?
No, I know the rules, but like the spirit of it is you're trying to put the best team together. You're not trying to just wipe out the other person. To me, yeah.
Well, then why didn't you draft a quarterback first if you're putting the best team together? You don't start building a team with your running back.
No, because you're looking at the delta of positions here.
Okay,
right?
He's looking at the delta of what's available.
So, okay, all right, fine. So I'm going to maintain my convictions here. I'm not going to be led astray. I'm going to go with the spot where there's another delta here, and you guys are going to mock this, but I feel good about this one as well. What are you shaking your head for?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
I'm going with 2022 Hassan Reddick.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Clearly number one guy.
I was actually big delta. I mean, 19.5 sacks.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. The next, I was actually surprised who was second as the dryers done. Sweat and Nolan Smith, I believe. Both tied with 12.5 sacks. But yeah, Hassan Reddick, absolutely a big delta there, no doubt about it. But I mean, Zach,
what?
Well, I mean,
this is what I was
doing. I mean, obviously, I'm drafting Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. Like, of course, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
They won a Super Bowl together. Why would I not do that?
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
Like, no,
you just saw Fran do it. You had to react.
You don't have to
taking
apologize.
A quarterback.
You don't have to apologize. Let's keep rolling here.
Okay.
So then I could just completely wait for quarterbacks.
Yeah, you don't have to draft.
Correct.
It's fine. All right, so I'm gonna go with another spot where there is a major delta. And I'm gonna go with 2017 Brandon Brooks at right guard.
Oh, good one.
Good one. Let me adjust here. Yeah, it's a good pick. All right. This one, I'm going to go. I'm going to, I could do that. Yeah, I'm going to double dip here. I am going to take 2022 DeVonta Smith and 2024 DeVonta Smith. Give myself DeVonta. I actually was going back and forth. How did you guys have them stacked? Because initially going in, I was like, all right, like I'll take the older, more seasoned version. But obviously, he was a little bit banged up last year, and the numbers just because of the pass volume wasn't always there as well. How did you guys stack that? I had them right next to each other, but if you had to pick one, who would you have taken?
I would have gone 2022.
That's 22 DeVonta Smith.
Yep.
Yeah. Now it's hard because like both of their volume is better because the team passed more. But I think the efficiency is a little bit in the favor of 2022 DeVonta, and as you mentioned, 24 was a little bit banged up.
Yep. All right, so ZB, back to you.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I know you guys can just take third wide receivers to box me out of that. I understand. I understand that's a realistic thing here. But to me, I want to make sure that I get high level left tackle. To me, there's two left tackles, and if I let this go around, I'm gonna go with 24 Jordan Mailata.
I think that's the right pick.
Yep.
Okay. And why 24 over 22? I agree. It's just a little bit more seasoned.
Yeah, more seasoned. I thought he played at an extraordinarily high level this year, and the only thing is he was more banged up this year than 2022. But the high watermarks were better.
Yeah, I mean he did miss 5 games as opposed to 1 game for the 2022 version. I will take the 2022 Jordan Mailata as my left tackle, and then I'm going to go. You're talking about deltas. The Eagles have had some high-level safety play, but 2017 Malcolm Jenkins is another level and gives me the bite that I want on defense. So I'm very happy to have Malcolm Jenkins here.
Good pick.
Good pick.
I actually found safety to be pretty deep or deeper than I expected, depending on your view of C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Right.
Now, so we'll get to those when those picks are made. Look, at this point I just need to play defense because I need a wide receiver, right? And I'm going to have 2 or 3 of them. So give me 17 Alshon Jeffery just to make sure that Fran doesn't stack his wide receiver group there.
That was happening, so that was a good pick.
Okay.
Yep, that was a good pick. All right, so I don't need to force anything at tackle, left tackle, I should say. I do want to get a blue chip offensive lineman with this somewhere on this turn. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go 2024 Landon Dickerson. So he'll be my left guard. And then we are going to go, I'll start the run here. And we're going to go 2024 Quinyon Mitchell at corner.
Okay. Now, I'm a little bit surprised that you go Quinyon Mitchell 2024 as the top corner off the board.
Yeah, I had guys tightly graded, but that's a position where I kind of see that there could be a run here coming up, and I just wanted to make sure I got out ahead of that. I went a little bit.
Okay, over to you, Zach. We'll do your pick, my pick, and then we'll take a break.
Yeah, so I need I'm going to need at least some firepower here. I'm going to go with the best tight end available to me, and that is 2017 Zach Ertz.
I had a conversation with my friend Mike last night about this. He was wondering, is Dallas Goedert the best Eagles tight end of all time? Given that he's a little bit better all around. And I still go. I still think it's not really that close. I think Ertz is the guy, and I do think 2017 Ertz. Now, like Fletcher Cox, 2018 was an even better year for him, but 2017 Ertz is a slightly higher class of player, I think.
I think if you're looking like at in terms of like resumes and stuff like that, I don't think it's close. And in terms of like peak and like overall upside, like maybe you can make the argument for Dallas just because more well-rounded player. But to me, Zach, I think is the better overall Eagles tight end.
Okay, this is interesting. There are like 4 players I would really like to take right now. I'm going to take one and then we'll take a break. But the first one I'm going to do is to return Fran serve. And I would have taken 2022 Darius Slay over 2024.
I know that's who I had next.
And so I'm gonna be happy to have that version of Darius Slay as my ace corner. And away we go. All right, quick break. Coming back with more on the other side of this explosive Eagles Super Bowl draft. Everybody's listening to this draft, trying to figure out the little nuggets that are going to matter. The golden nuggets. Go get yourself some jewelry. For the past 30 years, Golden Nugget Jewelers has operated out of the very same location in the heart of Philadelphia. Customers across Pennsylvania and even New Jersey, Baltimore, New York City come to Golden Nugget Jewelers to find that perfect engagement ring or wedding band. Their staff is highly trained and dedicated to providing a personalized shopping experience. They've got a vast selection of engagement rings and wedding bands, along with high-end watches, fashion jewelry, and sparkling diamond necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and more. Receive a final cleaning and written appraisal with every engagement ring purchase. Golden Nugget Jewelers has been a family-owned and operated business since 1987, right there on 8th and Chestnut in downtown Philly. You deserve an expert in the best price. Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Visit goldennuggetjewelry.com today to learn more.
I will now hear from our friends over at the Hall of Fame app because, look, we've all been there, right? Your parlay is just one leg away, and then that relief pitcher gives up a walk-off bomb in the 9th inning, and it's just utter heartbreak. And if it sounds familiar, then the Hall of Fame app is built to fix that, started by 2 lifelong fans who also happen to be Ivy League grads. HOF makes parlay research smarter, faster, and data-driven. This is not your buddy's group chat that's full of hot takes. It's a full analytics engine. So the HOF app gives you access to advanced stats, historical data, and powerful tools to help you bet smarter. The app is built for the everyday sports fan. So it's easy and intuitive to use. You'll get the idea of your parlay's chances to hit and identify some weak legs so that you can weed them out before you place them, whether it's MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL, or college sports. The app gives you beautiful charts, clean visuals, and real insight, not hype, not rumors, not like, oh, this is what I heard, this is what I might feel. You get the actual insight that's going to lead you to wins. They believe more anything that the books know, you should know too, because parlays don't have to be dumb bets. With HOF, they aren't. With a 4.9 rating in the App Store and over 6,000 5-star reviews, it's safe to say that HOF has already helped a lot of people bet smarter. Our listeners right here get a 7-day free trial and 50% off of their first month. Just download the HOF app and use code PHLY at checkout. For a limited time only, our listeners now get that 7-day trial, but they also get that 50% off that first month. Again, just use that code PHLY at checkout. Download the HOF app on iOS and Android, or visit HOFbets.com, enter code PHLY, and you're set to go.
This summer, I wanted to, 2 weeks away here. It's important to tell everybody about the ultimate fan experience that's coming to New York City. That's Fanatics Fest. It's taking over the Javits Center from June 20th through June 22nd. Get ready for this 3-day of nonstop sports, culture, and collectibles with your favorite athletes, creators, and celebs. Philly's own Cooper DeJean, who you probably have seen on the exciting mics. Brian Dawkins, who we had on the PHLY Eagles show at his golf tournament 2 weeks ago. Nick Foles, who went in the second round today. Allen Iverson, Pete Davidson, Dawn Staley, my favorite WNBA player growing up, all under one roof. Snap a selfie with legends, grab exclusive merch, dive into fantasy drafts like this one, card drops, sneaker heat, and live podcasts from the biggest names in the game. From NFL to NBA, MLB to WWE, Fanatics Fest is where fans become part of the story. Tickets are going fast. Don't miss your shot to be part of history. Fanatics Fest NYC, sports, culture, collectibles, all in one place. Get your tickets now at fanaticsfest.com.
All right. I got to decide here whether to play defense or play offense. And I'm, you know what? Stay aggressive. Got to play offense here. I'm going to take the best defensive player on the board. I'm taking Zack Baun. And feel very good about that. Happy to have him on my team, knowing that you guys have the better defensive tackles. I'm going to need Zack Baun to be making all kinds of plays for me.
I like that one.
Good pick.
Good pick here. So as I look at this here, which version of Landon Dickerson went? The 24?
24.
24, yes.
Okay. I believe there's a Delta at left guard. And so
this was my choice, offense or defense. I could have played defense, but this one, go ahead. You're right.
So I saw one right guard. I took that, Brandon Brooks. I see two left guards. One's already off the board, so I'm going Landon Dickerson 2022.
It's a good pick. I am going to stay along that same track here, and I'm going to double up along the offensive line. I am going to go 2024 Mekhi Becton, and I am going to go 2017 Jason Kelce.
Okay. Take me through both of those decisions, because both of those are interesting. I'm not sure I would have gone Becton over Sayamalu, and why that version of Kelce.
I think with Becton, to me, like that, and look, I've went through like the highs and lows of Mekhi Becton, but I just think that the highs are higher. Sayamalu's a more steady player, but I thought that the highs were higher with Mekhi Becton, and so to me, I'm going to put this offensive line together and say, like, all right, let me give me Mekhi Becton's highs. As far as 17 Kelce over 22 Kelce, went back and forth. At the end of the day, I wanted the younger version. I had them both next to each other on the tag, and I wanted to make sure I ended up with one of the two. So it could be either one, and I'd be perfectly happy. I
think he would tell you that coming off of 2022, he felt like he had dropped a bit of a level.
Right. So I was
17 may not have been his very best, but he was already experienced enough to be matching, his elite athleticism with all of the accumulated reps and smarts that he had over the course of his career.
Yep. I agree.
Okay.
So then with this pick here, because I am boxed out at wide receiver, I'm going to have to evolve a bit here, and I'm going to go with my flex spot on offense. I'm going to go 22 Dallas Goedert.
I like that.
Okay.
And so I can lean into 12 personnel with Saquon, with Alshon, whoever I add as my second wide receiver, with a strong offensive line, and quarterbacks remains to be seen. But I'm going Dallas Goedert to the spot as my flex.
I like that.
Good pick. Yeah, it's a good pick.
That's a good pivot for you. That means that I am now going to play some defense because there are a few things that I don't want to get stuck with. So I will take 24 Dallas Goedert as my tight end, which I do agree is not quite as good as the 2022 version, and is dealing with injury. And then I also want to make sure that I have a Jason Kelce. So I'm gonna take 2022 Jason Kelce as my center.
It's a good one. I had a hard time with the value of the centers because Cam Jurgens is the third one is still
a Pro Bowl.
Pretty good.
Still a Pro Bowl player, but Jason Kelce is obviously an All-Pro, a Hall of Fame. So there is a drop off. I didn't view that as significant of drop off as some of the other spots.
Zach, I'll give you a little. I'll give you a little reset. I'll give everybody a little reset here so you can think about this pick. So Fran's roster right now, he's got both Jalen Hurtses, both DeVonta Smiths. He's got an interior offensive line of Landon Dickerson, 2017 Jason Kelce, and 2024 Mekhi Becton. And on defense, he's got 17 Fletcher Cox and 24 Quinyon Mitchell. Zach has built up a burly offense so far. He's got Saquon Barkley, 2017 Alshon Jeffery. He's got 2022 Dallas Goedert and 2017 Zach Ertz. He's got an offensive line of 24 Mailata, 22 Landon Dickerson, and prime 2017 Brandon Brooks, with Hassan Reddick and Jalen Carter on his defense. I have Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, both A.J. Browns, 24 Dallas Goedert, 22 Mailata, 22 Kelce, Zack Baun, 22 Darius Slay, and 2017 Malcolm Jenkins.
So I am up here, and I hope that the fans who evaluate this truly remember the season and not the way it ended. And what I mean by that is I'm going with 22 James Bradberry in this spot. James Bradberry was a second-team All-Pro. He was a high-level player that year. Fell off the cliff the following year. Did not play last season. So people can see that and make James Bradberry a punchline. Please remember, in 2022, James Bradberry was one of the best corners in football, and he was third on my list here, but I did think that it dropped off after these three, and so I want to get a corner before you guys add a second one.
Okay.
All right. So I got two picks here. I was going back and forth. I'll try to remember this later to talk about this pivot point for me, because I'm going back and forth in my mind about which way I'm going to go, and I think I know. All right, let's do it. I'm going to go Vic Fangio.
Interesting.
So Vic Fangio is my defensive coordinator, and give me Cooper DeJean in the middle of my defense.
Okay.
And is he playing nickel for you, or are you going to wait?
I'm going to put him into the nickel. Yep.
Okay. Because he's a player who you can use in different spots in theory.
Yep.
Okay. So with this pick here, once again, I hope fans remember how productive this player was. Okay. 11 sacks as a defensive tackle. I'm going Javon Hargrave in this spot here. Javon was really good in 2022, earned a good contract at age 30 with the 49ers.
I thought about Zach. He was a player I was thinking about taking there in that last round. So I would, if you, Bo, you.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. Those last three picks were the next three players on my board. So that one hurt a little bit. That's okay. Good picks, guys. Okay. All right. Then, in that case, where do I go? I think I'm going to go. Is that the best version of those guys? I might be having a lot of double ups here. All right. I do think that one of the big drop offs, similar to left guard, is I love Avonte, but I think there's a big difference between 2017 Patrick Robinson and 2022 Avonte.
Wow.
So I'm going to take 2017 Patrick Robinson as my nickel.
Okay.
And then I think I'm going to take 2024 Darius Slay. And I tell you what, I've got two AJ Browns, but and Fran's got two Jalen Hurtses and two DeVonta Smiths. I don't think there's anyone who's going to enjoy the experience of playing with themselves more than Darius Slay.
That's a good way to frame it. He's going to be so flattered by this, right? Yeah, that's going to be a colorful locker room. He might drive Malcolm crazy at some point, but
they won't hear anybody else because they'll just be talking to each other. It'll just be nonstop back and forth.
Yeah, that's true. So, look, this one is going to be completely on brand for me. But if you're looking at like production for a given season, this is one of the more underrated seasons in recent Eagles history. Okay. 2022 Josh Sweat was a really good player. And, he had 11 sacks through 15 games that year. He got banged up, returned for the playoffs. Sweat was a high-level player there. Fell off, and I think that Sweat was much better than last year's Sweat. The 2017 Eagles, the strength of that pass rush was kind of the group, right? They didn't have the double-digit sack guy. This year's Eagles, Nolan Smith really came on in the postseason, of course, but I think I get Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter, Javon Hargrave, and Hassan Reddick on my line. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good pick. And I think you rationalized that really well. There are areas of need, and then there are best players on the board.
Right. It's tough.
All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go with 20. Hold on one sec. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Rodney McLeod.
Okay.
Okay.
And then just crunching numbers really quick on one. Yeah, I think you got to go with this guy. Oh, but man, it might be too close to call. I think I'm going to wait. All right, so I'm going to go Rodney McLeod with my first pick, and then with my second pick, I am going to take. It's too early for those guys. Yeah, I'll just make a call. I'm going to take 2022 Fletcher Cox.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going back and forth between he and Milton Williams, 2024 Milton Williams. But yeah, I think the numbers speak to Fletcher being even though Milton played more snaps. I think that Fletcher just had the overall better season. I get the double dip, but it's another double dip here, so I get double dip on Fletcher, and then yeah,
wow,
and then
watch
yeah,
our husbands pull up here.
Exactly right. I'll add my third member of my secondary. So Quinyon, Cooper DeJean, and Rodney McLeod.
Okay.
So I already know Professor Selman's going to hate my roster because I'm going with the fifth player from the 2022 Eagles defense for this group. I clearly like that 22 Eagles defense, and I don't want to be boxed out at safety completely. 2022 CJ Gardner-Johnson was a high-level player, and he was I think he was better than 24 CJ Gardner-Johnson. I like him in this spot. So give me 24 CJ Gardner-Johnson. I'm sorry, 22 CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Okay. Okay. I know exactly what I'm going to do here now. I'm going to take you guys have no linebackers, and I feel very good to now have the two best linebackers available. Give me 2017 Nigel Bradham. Feeling happy about that. And boy, is that going to be a fun group on the field. And then I think there's a very big drop off here with the final wide receiver spot. And I'm happy to get Nelson Agholor from 2017, the best version of Nelson Agholor as my slot receiver. And I like that.
That's a good pick. I thought I could wait on Nelson.
I thought so too. I thought I was going to wait. I was thinking about waiting there.
Yeah, Nelson was a guy I was ready to. I mean, I thought I was getting Nelson when you guys went with AJ and DeVonta. So yeah, that's a good pick.
All right, let's go Zach and then Fran, and then we'll take our next break.
So with my pick here, so now that you went Nelson, and you're right about the linebackers, there is the drop off there. The thing about right tackle is I like all these versions of Lane.
I know it's tough. It's Lane's so disrespected. It's such an elite level of play over so long that he's not going to get picked. It's going to be Mr. Irrelevant.
So I gotta say, like I really appreciate competitive zeal. Okay, let's double up
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is combustible. Now you want to talk about the person who's going to hate playing with himself the most.
Let's go 2 versions of CJ Gardner-Johnson, 22 and 24. Man,
Oh, man.
He's going to collect
That's a
every
disaster.
receipt. He's going to collect every receipt ripping on Tanner McKee or ripping on Kenny Pickett or ripping on Gardner Minshew. He is going or ripping on Nate Sudfeld. He is going to he's going to have my team's back. Him and Hassan Reddick are chasing their numbers out here, and they're letting you know about it. This is a fun secondary, and this is a fun team.
Poor James Bradbury sitting in that DB room. Mild-mannered Bradbury as the 2 CJ go after each other.
Bradbury's just like begging the defensive coordinator, just begging Gadden, like, can we have a corner room and a safety room, please?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Cousin Greg says CJ would murder CJ.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to round out my corner trio. I'm going to take Jalen Mills. I'm going to take 2017 Jalen Mills here.
Interesting.
I've always been a Jalen Mills guy. I always thought he was very underrated. Pairing him with Quignon and Cooper DeJean. I like him as a fit in Vic Fangio's defense. Yeah, give me Jalen Mills to round out.
I as a Fangio guy. Yeah.
Give me that
I figured though that Darby would go above Mills. I thought Darby was the top guy, was the top corner in that group. Do you disagree?
Really? I do. I think
Okay.
I think that Jalen was the guy for them. Personally,
I agree.
Okay.
But some people might make the case for
you
for
can make the
Darby.
case.
Better traits. But yeah, I agree. I would rather have Mills. We'll I forgot.
We'll take that break.
We'll take that break. So
Go for
we'll
it.
be right back after these messages. At Ace Hardware Home Services, whenever they get ready for the next job, they remember what to bring. They bring experience. They're local plumbers and techs who handle everything from repairs and seasonal maintenance to installations and upgrades. They bring understanding. They listen to your goals, and the job isn't completed until you're satisfied. And they bring helpful to your home, so you can spend more of your time on the projects that really matter. Free estimates on equipment installation and replacement with trusted advisors and options that are best suited for your home and budget. Service you can trust and satisfaction guaranteed. Ace Hardware Home Services are local. Their teams live and serve your community and are dedicated to keeping their neighbors comfortable in their home. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project.
Just like your favorite team needs a home court or home field or home ice advantage, and I imagine given my quarterback play in this draft, I'm going to need that home field advantage. Your home needs a home floor advantage. Empire Today will help you get it. Empire Today, they have flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. Bo and Fran have been out to dinner with me, and they know one thing I like to do is I like to ask the experts their opinion. I want to know what the people who really know think and what they recommend. This is the problem. When I go to big box stores and I ask them what they think, they don't know. They might give me they were doing sinks yesterday. They were stocking light bulbs the day before. They might be at the register tomorrow, right? They're not the flooring experts that I get when I go to Empire Today. So Empire Today, they live and breathe flooring. They will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ballgame. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home. Pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. See how it looks with your furniture in your house. Get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered so there are no surprises. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Nobody likes to wait. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. PHLY listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code PHLY. Yes, you heard that right. A $350 discount with code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire Today/PHLY for full details.
All right, Fran, you have one more pick to make here at the start of the 16th round of the Ultimate Eagles Super Bowl draft.
Yeah, I'm looking at where are their deltas, where's their position scarcity, and to me, I'm looking at Zach here, and seeing that he still has to fill that wide receiver 2 spot. And I've got my flex position. I'm going to take Torrey Smith. I think that adding his speed, I was actually to me, like, it was like, all right, how am I going to tier these receivers out? I had him in the same grouping as Agholor. I did have Nelson ahead of. I had Nelson ahead of him, Torrey right after that, but I had Torrey ahead of 2022 Quez, ahead of 2024 Jahan Dotson. I had him in that next group up. So I will take Torrey Smith here with this selection.
I think that's right to have him ahead of those guys, but I would view him as a different tier from Agholor. But I see your point. All right, Zach, you have rejoined us. You look pained.
Yeah, I heard Torrey Smith, and so that was who I was going to take. I didn't think with 2 DeVontas there'd be such a rush to take another receiver. Clearly, I was incorrect. So let me look at the linebacker situation here. I don't think you guys need to push corners. Nickel, I can wait on nickel. I can choose my version of lane, but I'm comfortable with all those versions of lane. So really the most competitive spot for me is the linebacker and the coaching staff. So at linebacker here, I'm going to stick to good high quality play and good health. That's what this guy had. TJ Edwards.
It's a good pick.
Because I like the way Nakobe played last year, but you don't get Nakobe for the Super Bowl run. And then Michael Kendricks was kind of on and off the field. So I'm going TJ Edwards at this spot.
Okay, I like that. I'm happy with how this worked out here for me in this particular spot. Fran and I both have no edge rushers. And so I'm happy to get the next 2 best edge guys on the board, in my opinion.
I thought about going that route. Yep.
And that it'll tell me if you would have done the same. It is 2024 Nolan Smith and 2017 Brandon Graham. Not 2022 Brandon Graham, who had more sacks, but was more of a bit player. And of course, 2017 Brandon Graham makes the most important play in franchise history.
2017 Brandon Graham. His numbers were awesome that year. Like in terms of it's good way stacking it against the rest of the group. He had a great season that year.
I would have taken him above Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was very close to doing that exact thing on my last go around. So I was going to see if I was going to wait you out a little bit, but no, that was a good pick by you.
All right, back to you, Zach. You have both quarterbacks, wide receiver, center, right tackle, linebacker, nickel, cornerback, defensive flex, and the 4 non-player of things available.
Yeah. So what the play here for me then would be to take the next linebacker, because that's the most competitive, and you're really debating between Michael Kendricks, Kaiser White, and Nakobe Dean. How much are we weighing the fact that Nakobe was injured down the stretch in this? But yeah, it's a tough question. I just don't see much of a delta with the head coaches. That's the thing. You can argue there's a delta with the. You know what? Let's go with Jim Schwartz.
I knew you were going to do that.
Guy. I'm a Jim Schwartz guy.
When the rubber finally hits the road, you can't bring yourself to back your guy.
Can't do it.
No, you know what?
Throw him under the bus.
I'm not throwing it. First off, I want you to end up with Jonathan Gannon. I mean, that is the ideal outcome of this draft, number 1. Oh, now you're happy to have Jonathan.
We need to make that a drop. We need to make that a drop.
Yes. Yeah, now the first time you're happy to have Jonathan Gannon. I think Jonathan Gannon was underrated. I think Jonathan Gannon was a really good coordinator that year.
Frankly, Jim Schwartz is a worse fit for the roster that I've built than Jonathan Gannon is schematically.
But to me, yeah, Jim Schwartz is just time tested. He's got Hassan, Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter, Javon Hargrave. Those guys are going to pin their ears back in his attacking defense. Yeah, I like this. CJ gives him a versatile safety. Might drive him nuts, but I think Jim would actually appreciate a CJ from time to time.
Not two of them.
not two of them. So yeah, give me Jim Schwartz here.
Okay.
I like it. I'm also going to take a coach here, and I'm going to take our first. I'm going to take our first head coach. Give me the play calling head coach, 2017, Doug Peterson. So he'll be my head coach, and then for my second pick on the turn, I'm going to go best player on the board. I'm going to take, for my defensive flex spot, I'm going to take 2024 Milton Williams.
Okay. Good pick.
This is a guy that just got a $100 million contract this offseason for a reason. Extremely disruptive in Vic Fangio's defense. Gives me a three-man front of Fletcher, and Milton. I feel good about that. And back to you, Zach.
Okay, good pick.
So then now I will go linebacker here. And I mean, Kendricks was barely playing by the end there. Jordan Hicks got injured in the Washington game that year. So I think that was week 7. Jordan Hicks was playing at a real high level before he got injured. So, if when this kind of gets put on the screen on social, people are going to be like, oh, well, they could see Jordan Hicks 17 and get excited, but you don't have him for half the season. So Kaiser White, I know I have him for the whole run here. So give me Kaiser White.
Okay. All right. I have to what Fran did to me by taking Milton, I'm going to have to do to him in return for my defensive flex spot. So I'm going to take 2022 Brandon Graham. As my defensive flex.
Interesting.
And then I'm also going to take 2024 Reed Blankenship as my safety, completing my secondary.
Yep. I thought about taking him on the turn there.
It's
a good pick.
Okay.
It's a good pick. The way I looked, I thought about taking Reed with that last group of picks because to me he is more valuable for Vic Fangio than he is for Jonathan Gannon and Jim Schwartz, in my opinion. And so I thought I'm going to get the best version of it, but no, that's a good pick.
And I like Marcus Epps, but I think there's a pretty big difference between Blankenship and Epps. All right, so Zach, before you go, I will reset things again here. I have Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. I need a running back. I have AJ Brown, and Nelson Agholor. 2024 Dallas Goedert. 2022 Jordan Mailata. 2022 Jason Kelce. I need a left guard, right guard, and right tackle. I've got 2024 Nolan Smith, 2017 Brendan Graham, and 22 Brandon Graham on my defensive line. I need both defensive tackles. I have Zack Baun, Nigel Bradham, both Darius Slays, Patrick Robinson, Malcolm Jenkins, and 2024 Reed Blankenship. Fran has both Jalen Hurtses, both DeVonta Smiths, and Torrey Smith. We've got all Smiths at wide receiver. You've got the interior line of 2024 Dickerson, 2024 Becton, and 2017 Kelce. You've got both Fletcher Coxes. You've got Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Rodney McLeod, Jalen Mills, and 2024 Milton Williams. You've got Doug Peterson and Vic Fangio in your coaching staff. Zach, no quarterbacks. Saquon Barkley, Alshon Jeffery, 2022 Dallas Goedert, 2017 Zach Ertz, 2024 Jordan Mailata, 2022 Landon Dickerson, 2017 Brandon Brooks. You need both quarterbacks, a wide receiver, a center, and a right tackle. Your defensive line is set with Hassan Reddick, Jalen Carter, Javon Hargrave, 2022 Josh Sweat. You've got 2022 TJ Edwards. You've got Kaiser White. You've got James Bradbury from 2022. You've got both CJ Gardner-Johnsons and Jim Schwartz as your defensive coordinator. You need a nickel, a corner, a defensive flex on defense.
Yeah, so I'm going to go OC here. And if you just look at it statistically, the 2022 Eagles were outstanding. I mean, they were number 3 in yards, number 3 in points. They were top 5 in DVOA. Shane Steichen got a head coaching job off of that year. He called the plays, right? So to me, Shane was the number 1 OC on here. I know Kellen Moore did a lot last year, but the numbers didn't compare to Shane Steichen's 2022 year. So give me 2022 Shane Steichen.
It's a good pick.
I think that's fine. I think that's a fine pick. Yeah.
Was he your top OC? Out of curiosity.
I think he probably would have been, but I think it's close. I think there's a drop off to the number 3 guy a little bit, but maybe not. I think he'd get away with all.
I had all three. I had all three very close.
The thing with Frank is he didn't call plays, right? So
that's true.
It makes it a little more difficult if you're pairing Frank with a Sirianni. Yeah,
it's true, and it's why Fran taking Doug there makes some sense because you're getting his play calling. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Nick and Frank together, the problem is like they might not pay attention to the game. They're just going to be gazing into each other's eyes.
It's true. That's true.
All right. So I don't need to force the issue at a couple spots here. So I am going to. We are getting to the point where we need to start doing that, though. All right. With one of these picks, I'm going to take 2022 Miles Sanders. Take my back. And then I am going to then take 2024 Josh Sweat with my next pick.
Okay.
Just filling out depth chart holes at this point. A couple of other spots you guys can't make a pick. These were ones where you probably wouldn't make a pick, but I'm like, I want to cover against it. So I wanted to cover my bases there.
You know what? I'm not going to wait any longer here. I'm fascinated to hear what Stoutland would say to this. I'm fascinated to hear what Lane would say to this.
Yeah.
Which version of Lane is the best? I literally did not know how to rate these. They were all really high level.
I have a pick, but I don't know that I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's the right.
I don't know if it's right about
exactly. Yeah. But as I look at my roster here, it's really the only one that's like still competitive, right? Other than is defensive flex still competitive for me, or did you both fill that?
We have both filled it.
Yeah. So it's really the only spot that, and then head coach are the only ones that are competitive for me. I'm cool with either version of Sirianni. So I'm going 17 Lane Johnson.
Interesting.
Okay. Is that not? It's not the one that I would have taken.
It's not the one I would have taken either.
Okay.
But I could, again, they're all the same tier. So
I don't think.
I'm curious what the chat thinks. What was the best version of Lane? You're saying 22 Lane. Okay. From a health perspective, Lane had.
I mean, he would say it's interesting. I mean, I will tell you, I would have had 2022 as my top one, but I think he thinks last year was his best year.
Right. Yep.
So he was first team.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go on.
I was just going to say he played 15 games in all 3 seasons.
Yes.
That means he only missed one game in 2017, but.
Yeah, but the week 17 game, he only played a drive, and then he missed a concussion week 6 against Carolina that year, I believe, and that was on a Thursday game. So his healthiest year, he would tell you, was 2017, first team All Pro that year, and then so I'm fascinated to hear what he says. But at age 27, I kind of feel like you have the elite athleticism. He's understanding the scheme. He's that's a tough one.
Okay. Well, you know where we are, Zach.
We are in overtime.
Interesting. Okay. You guys can take him. Can't take him. There's really not a lot.
Yeah, we're starting to get to it. Yep.
Yeah.
I am going to go ahead now. Zach can take a defensive flex, so I should button up my defensive tackles here before he totally boxes me out. So I'm going to go ahead. I think I go 2017 Timmy Jernigan for sure.
Yep.
And then,
tough one.
It's tough. I mean, I could go Jordan Davis. I could go Ajuma. But I think what makes the most sense actually is 2022 Milton Williams for me. So Tim Jernigan and 2022 Milton Williams are my defensive tackles.
They were my top 2 defensive tackles on the board. So I agree with those picks. I have a defensive tackle question after Zach fills in his defensive flex.
Yeah,
Okay.
so my defensive flex is a wild card here. Okay, and this isn't based on talent. This is based on versatility. This is based on a creative way to play. I'm going with 2017 Corey Graham.
You love Corey Graham.
You love Corey Graham.
This
You
is
really
wild.
Corey Graham played 80% of the snaps in the Super Bowl that year. Yeah.
Well, you got him with Schwartz, which is, you got his guy. Yeah.
You took him ahead of Marcus Epps.
Yes.
Every down player.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good point.
I was waiting to take 2017 Corey Graham. This was the guy who I was. That's
the follow up to your memoir, Waiting for Jalen, is waiting to take Corey Graham.
Yeah, waiting to take Corey Graham.
I'm going to take Elijah Qualls here with my next pick. All right, so on the turn. All right, so that's the defensive flex. So Zach is out for defense. Okay,
yeah.
So
was your question going to be?
Yeah, my question. Did you guys end up stacking Bo Allen, 2017 Bo Allen, and 2024 Jordan Davis?
It's a good question. I mean, I think I would have had Davis ahead, but that Bo Allen's a very good player.
I was shocked. I thought right off like the top of my head, I was like, oh, it'll probably be Davis. And then I was like looking at numbers and I'm like, no, like I think Bo edges him out here. That's just
this is obviously given the way that they play, but this is the position where there are some really good players who are going to go undrafted. Bo Allen, right. Chris Long, Vinny Curry, like those guys aren't going to be on rosters, which seems a little bit unfair.
Well, Chris Long might go undrafted. I still have to fill out an edge.
Oh, that's true. You have an edge spot. Yeah.
Are we at the point? I guess I have to make one more selection before we're just filling out. I'm trying to see if there's anything else where.
The coaching staff stuff.
The coaching staff that's got to get filled out. That's right. That's right. All right. Well, then I'll do this then. Give me Frank Reich with offensive coordinator. The way I look at it is like, all right, I've got Dougie P. Let's recap the matchup here. I'm gonna take Frank Reich. So Frank Reich with this pick, and now I'm just filling out roster at this point, right? Looking at it, I don't think there's anything
unless you feel like you need to get your wild card.
Oh, true. Yeah,
but I think we can.
No, I'll do the wild card. So I loved this idea from you, and I was going back. And I'm like, all right, what are the different vibe elements of these teams? For me, the thing that like when I think of all 3 teams. And what is like the thing in the periphery that gave them an edge? That 2017 team pre-NFC Championship game, and it goes back to I think it was the Chris Long quote where he said like anybody could have gotten it that day when they played Dreams and Nightmares, and they're all jumping up and down the field. So like 2017 Dreams and Nightmares, like capturing that magic. That's it. That's number 1 pick for me in the wild.
Dreams
card.
and Nightmares is really good.
Yeah, so that's my wild card pick.
That's a very good pick. I like that.
Feel good about getting that at the top of the board. Back to you, Zach.
Yeah, so I'll go wild card then if it's competitive. I would like to change that Corey Graham pick if I could.
You cannot.
So, yeah, I see this in the chat, and I got to do it. He's actually on my list. This was my number 1 for the wild card. I'm surprised it didn't go this way. Give me 24 Dom DeSandro.
Wow.
Dom's making things happen.
It's a good one.
He's
a really
in the
good one.
Role this year. Okay. He keeps both TJ Gardner-Johnsons in line. Okay. He's infusing the confidence in these.
You need him. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got some great Corey Graham stories that he's sharing with me. So yeah, let's go with Dom DeSandro here.
Okay, I like that. All right. Well, then the things that are competitive for me are head coach and
wild card, or not
right tackle.
Right.
So I'm going to take. I think the Nick question is interesting. I think now I was thinking, because I'm going to have Kellen Moore, so you could make the easy, give me 2024 Sirianni to make that pairing, but I'm going with 2022 Sirianni.
I agree with this.
I think he was the real difference maker is like he was more aggressive in game management decisions. He followed the analytics a little bit more, so that matters to me. And I think you can make the case that they don't win the 2024. Nick is emboldened by the failures of 2023 and everything he went through over the early part of the season, like helped him become who he was at the end. But I think for a guy like him who thrives so much on being kind of a front runner, an in-your-face guy, that 2022 version was a better version of him. So I'm going to take 2022 Sirianni as my head coach. Why was it 2022 over 2024 for you, Fran?
One kept all of his hair midseason and the other didn't. And everything you said. I mean, I think the fact that basically everything that you laid out is the reason why. In terms of I think this one had went through the fire, came out through the other side, and I think there was peak confidence there. Whereas I joked about it, but there were definitely some scary moments this past fall for Nick Sirianni, obviously coming off the 23 season.
And then I will take, as we discussed, I will take 2022 Lane Johnson as my right tackle.
Which one did you take? 22?
I took 22 over 24.
Okay. Yep, that's how I would have. That's how I stacked it as well.
All right, so I can fill out my roster.
I think we can sort. Yeah, I think you can sort of fill out now, Zach. So
yeah,
who's going to be your starting quarterback? Let's get there.
Tanner McKee is going to start at quarterback for me.
You've won the draft.
Tanner McKee is going to start at quarterback, and my backup will be Gardner Minshew.
Okay.
The second wide receiver, man, this is tough. Quez Watkins was the most productive. Would you go Quez over Jahan?
I would.
Yeah. Quez Watkins.
Well, I think the question you need to ask is the way you have to play,
right?
With how bad you are at quarterback and how heavily you're going to lean on Saquon and in your 12 personnel is do you take Zach Pascal?
Yeah. No. Quez is stretching the field, man.
Right. No question. This is we bring everybody in. It's shot play. Yeah. You get Quez over the top. Yeah. I think the Quez Watkins.
The safeties are worried about Ertz and Goedert.
Yep.
Give me Quez in that role.
Okay.
Cam Jurgens is my center. Okay. Happy with Ronald Darby at corner.
Okay.
I'll take Avonte Maddox at nickel.
It's not that bad, but I do think there's a bit of a drop off there. But yeah.
Yeah, and then Nick Sirianni was the head coach of a team that Jeffrey Lurie said might be the best team in recent NFL history, right? So give this man his flowers. He's got, I know this, there's a book coming out on September 23rd. And Nick's coaching job is well represented in that book. So perhaps on September 23rd, people will read that book and say, all right, yeah, Nick did a good job in 24.
What's the book, Zach?
The book is called Leap Year. Philadelphia Eagles Ascent to Super Bowl Champions.
I look forward to reading it.
I just finished reading it. I am proud of it.
Good.
Love it.
All right, friend. Let's hear what you've got. Who's going to be your tight end?
Yeah, my tight end is going to be Trey Burton.
Interesting.
I mean, we got to get the guy who threw the pass for Philly Special. So we're going to go Trey Burton here. Was also just a demon in the red zone, not just throwing the ball, but catching the football. 5 touchdowns that year. So let's go Trey Burton at tight end. My left tackle is going to be Big V. Was there for the majority of the season. So I'm getting a guy that played the majority of the season, was obviously in the lineup for the Super Bowl win. I get 2024 Lane Johnson. And then my next edge rusher is going to be 2017 Chris Long. It was close. I had a lot of guys bunched together in that grouping. You took a couple of them. You took, I think it was 20. Was it 22? Brandon Graham that you swiped. I had him in that group. But I'm going to go 2017 Chris Long. My linebackers are going to be 2024 Nakobe Dean, and I'm going to take 2017 Jordan Hicks. I know I only get him for a few weeks, but to me, I'll count on. I'll count on.
Who's going to play linebacker for your playoffs?
Yeah, we'll figure
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah,
That's what the money's for Vic Fangio.
Given what you had, yeah.
All right, and then for my safety, it's going to be 2022 Marcus Epps.
Got it. Okay. For me, my running back is going to be 2017 Jay Ajayi. My right guard is going to be 2022 Isaac Seumalo. Now, what would you have thought about? Could I do Seumalo, 2022 Seumalo at left guard and rookie Cam Jurgens in 2022 at right guard? I think I probably wouldn't do that over Wisniewski.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do it over. I would have personally allowed it. He played right guard the next year.
I think that is probably allowable. I don't know that it's worth it. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's worth it. No.
Yeah, so I'll take Wiz at left guard, and then all that leaves for me are the coaches and the wild card. So that means that obviously I get Kellen Moore, I get my man JG, and then my wild card. I don't know. Dreams and Nightmares I think was the best wild card choice there. I was thinking about I could do just the existential. This team has never won a Super Bowl before, like the built up angst of that. That was a good one for me. Maybe that should be my pick, but instead I'm going to go with 2017, the inaugural Osprey Awards. So I'm going with the Ospreys.
Do you guys have a list of other options here? Because I've got some other vibes to share, other wild card ones.
Kamagruje Hill.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, what was
an
that?
Osprey.
Stoutland I thought about, but each team has Stoutland. But just to make sure that you get them.
What about the PHLY show, right? So the post-game show, the pre-game show. Yeah, what about that?
It's a good one.
Okay, what about Birds with Friends?
No, what about the PHLY Eagles show? Yes.
I thought about, you could do, let's see, what was 2022?
2022, I mean, that offense just shattered record, in terms of then, Zach hit on it earlier with the selection of Shane Steichen, but just what they did offensively just broke a lot of franchise records. The touchdown celebrations in 17 and in 22.
Oh, the celebrations of 17
celebrations
is actually that's a really good one.
Do you think that stood out more in 17 or in 22?
17.
17. I agree, because you had the group celebrations. I was going back and forth with somebody about that.
Yeah.
I agree. It's 17. The uniform combos from this year, the only one of the three that had the Kelly Greens, and they had the black jerseys as well.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? You could go 24. You could go Vinny Curry on the postgame show.
Yep.
True. 17. You could go the California trip. You
know what I thought about? Yeah, was a motivational speech by Kobe Bryant.
Yes, that was. Yeah, I remember speaking to Zach Ertz about that. The day
I didn't want to go here, but my actual pick probably would be, and maybe I just get it with Malcolm Jenkins, but commitment to social justice.
Go on.
Okay.
2017 was to me one of the peak years of Eagles entertainment video content. I would go with that one. If we're talking.
I like this from CDP in the chat. 2022, Howdy shouting at that fan in Houston.
I mean, if we're being, do
you think that fan who he yelled at turned out to join Deshaun's coaching staff at Delaware State?
I do not. I think 22 was, of these three, 22 was my best writing year. So you get my articles in 22. You can go with that.
The creative that was not the creative year, was it?
No, but no. If we're going with the Eagles entertainment year, that's and we're going with the Birds of Friends post-game show. I was just trying to join in the contributions there. 22 was the best writing that I did from those years.
You know what, Zach? I think 2022 had what probably still stands as my favorite Zack Berman story.
Really? What's that?
That's the Josh Sweat profile.
Oh, thank you. That really means a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah, I was proud of that one.
That was a very good story.
Appreciate that.
All right, let's go through the rosters.
I remember the day in the locker room when Josh called me over and just said, "I'm ready," and I'm like, "Oh man," because I had been asking for years to do that story, and he calls me over and says, "I'm ready." So then, yeah, we knocked it out.
All right. Well, I'm happy to gas you up because unfortunately we do have to bring you down in reading your roster.
Yeah, I agree. I lost this one.
That's okay.
I still don't think it was fair, but yeah, I lost this one.
Of course, it was fair.
Go on. Yeah, go on.
All right. So you've got the 3 Super Bowl rosters. How do you attack your team? You start at quarterback. I don't blame you. Tanner McKee and Gardner Minshew. Saquon Barkley from 2024. We're going to be handing the ball off a lot. Saquon, we know that Saquon can handle this load. 2017 Alshon Jeffery and 2022 Quez Watkins at wide receiver. We're going to be lining up in 12 personnel with 2022 Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz from 2017. An offensive line of 24 Jordan Mailata, 2022 Landon Dickerson, 2024 Cam Jurgens, 2017 Brandon Brooks, and 2017 Lane Johnson. Very good offensive line that you built there. On defense, Hassan Reddick, Jalen Carter, 2024 Javon Hargrave, and 2022 Josh Sweat. Very stout, very strong up front. Linebacker, TJ Edwards and Kaiser White. Okay. Cromulent. Secondary, 2022 James Bradbury, 2022 Avonte Maddox, 2022 CJ Gardner-Johnson, 2024 CJ Gardner-Johnson, 2017 Ronald Darby, and of course the linchpin himself, Corey Graham. And you are led by 2024 Nick Sirianni, coached and play called by Shane Steichen, Jim Schwartz on the defensive side of the ball, and you've got Big Dom patrolling the sidelines. Fran Duffy. What a combination of quarterback. Jalen Hurts and Jalen Hurts. Now, the problem here, Fran, we know how it went in the locker room the last time Jalen Hurts was a backup. So I do worry about the locker room chemistry here with Jalen having to back up. I mean, do you think that 2024 Jalen Hurts is going to want to
What's up, Reed?
Be second fiddle to anybody?
It's a valid point. I think that those two are just going to have to work it out. I think that the 2022 version of Jalen Hurts is going to be extra motivated by the push from 2024 Jalen Hurts to get the best version out of him.
Reed, who would you rather have, 2022 Jalen Hurts or 2024 Jalen Hurts?
2024.
Ooh. Really? Ooh, 2022 was better. So I appreciate you guys entertaining this because Reed really wanted to come into the studio today. We're doing this remote. So he asked if he can come on the end of the show. I said so. He's been waiting outside the door. He's got his birthday party tonight, so he's excited.
That's right. Happy birthday, Reed.
Happy birthday, Reed.
All
Let's get it in the chat, baby. Reed.
All right, buddy. All right, thanks. Thank you.
You've got Miles Sanders, Fran. You've got both DeVonta Smiths. You've got Torrey Smith. Trey Burton is your tight end. Your offensive line is Halapul Avanti Vaitai. 2024 Landon Dickerson. 2017 Jason Kelsey. 24 Mekhi Becton. And 24 Lane Johnson. You've got a defensive line of 2024 Josh Sweat. 2017 Chris Long. Both Fletcher Coxes in the middle with Milton Williams in 2024 rotating in as well. You've got the real mash unit at linebacker of Nakobe Dean and Jordan Hicks. And in the secondary, you've got Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Marcus Epps, Jalen Mills, and Rodney McLeod. You're coached by Big Balls Doug, 2017. You've got Frank Reich, Vic Fangio, and you've got Dreams and Nightmares. I do think you finished in second and you won the off-field stuff. You did get the best coaching staff and the best wild card. Unfortunately, the rest of your roster just did not measure up to the championship roster, which is, we know exactly how this is going to work out in the locker room. Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, baby, at quarterback. Jay Ajayi at running back. Both A.J. Browns at wide receiver. I kind of think that was the whole game right there. Plus Nelson Agholor, 2024 Dallas Goedert. An offensive line of Jordan Mailata, Stefan Wisniewski, 2024 Jason Kelce, 2022 Isaac Seumalo, 2022 Lane Johnson. A defensive line of Nolan Smith, Tim Jernigan, 2022 Milton Williams, 2017 and 2022 Brandon Graham. Definitely the best linebacker tandem in Zack Baun and Nigel Bradham. I believe the best secondary as well. Malcolm Jenkins, Reed Blankenship, Patrick Robinson, both Darius Slays, and head coached by 2022 Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore, Jonathan Gannon, and the wild card. Let's go the Celebration, Social Justice, the Ospreys, and all the rest.
I have it down as the initial Ospreys was the final.
Yeah, it's fine. Not where it was won or lost. All right. Obviously, let us know in the chat who you think won, why you think I won, and all that good stuff. Where you think the draft turned. How does everybody feel?
I mean, my team is the worst of the three. I feel as if I was the only one who played within the spirit of the game. But that's for another day, right? I mean, I go into this saying what's best for the show. And
I agree.
What?
Yeah. And so like realistically, you wouldn't take your two quarterbacks with your first three picks.
Yeah, but Zach, this is so backwards. Realistically, you wouldn't start your team with a running back.
You're starting with the offensive player of the year, like the only one who's an offensive player of the year. Yeah, as I said, you're going with this.
Vince is out of his mind. Vince is trying to make you feel better. He's trying to make sure you don't spiral this weekend.
The performance. No, so you know, I think that anyone who is watching this, I hope sees the earnest sincerity with which I try to approach this project, as opposed to just trying to box out the two of you. But yeah, Corey Graham was a bad pick. I should have gone Derek Barnett. I should have gone Derek Barnett, but I feel strong about the lines of scrimmage that I have. I feel strong about the coaching staff, and I got Dom DeSandro in that building, making sure everything's all the trains are on time.
I mean, technically, the 2017 version and 2022 version of Big Dom are still available.
True.
Walking around in the ether somewhere.
Yeah, 24 Dom is the best version. I mean, he came back a celebrity.
I don't know if I agree. I feel like 2022 Dom is maybe the best version because he's still a little Dom is best when he's not the focal point, when he's a little bit under the radar.
Yeah. Reed seeing all the times Vince says that ZB won and it's getting really excited. I think Vince is just trying to make me feel good. I did not win. I have Tanner McKee as my quarterback. So.
The chat overwhelmingly believes that I won. So we're gonna go with that. And
that's not true.
Have a good weekend.
That's not true at all. All right. Well, that was fun, guys. Good exercise. Congratulations to me for winning once again. And we'll talk to you on Monday. Zach, enjoy vacation.
Yeah, I'm out next week. I'm going to miss being on the show with you guys. I will be listening to and watching all the shows. I'll be in line at the water slide, listening to different interviews we might have set up next week that I'm excited to listen. I can't wait to get back the following Monday.
We should do a draft.
Actually, we're gonna see you on Friday, Zach. You're gonna come in specifically for a special episode.
Yeah, I feel as if though I'm not gonna do well in that draft either. So. But I got this guy's birthday, so it's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
All right, good stuff, everybody. Thank you to Juliet for making this happen remote. We will talk to you back on Monday at 2:00. And happy birthday to Reed. Thanks for everybody for listening. Comment below. Tell us why I won. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.